Welcome back to the John David Berdahl Art Experience.
I love that you've named it that.
Yes.
Well, yes, I do believe I'm honored. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So tell us about this acrylic paint set
Sure.
that you've got here. There's 36 colors. Where can one purchase that?
Okay, so there are a number of different places you can go in town. I do believe that was ordered.
Okay.
So Amazon is often what people, go to, or it's the go-to for some people, and you can find great deals on there. Am I supposed to like espouse some places?
No, not at all.
Promote some places
I just
more than
wanted
others?
put
Sure, where people can go.
awareness of where you can possibly purchase, because I've never seen a Blick Art. Usually in Illinois there's like a Blick Art.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
I do know what you're saying.
Where you can purchase an easel, the paintbrushes, and all the accoutrements for this.
And there was a place down, thank you for that word too, accoutrement.
You're very
Oh, that's
welcome.
great.
So fancy.
It's like ablutions too, that's
Yes.
the other word.
Love that.
But yeah, you can go to, often I go to Michael's.
Okay.
And they have a lot of decent prices there, I have to say, inexpensive prices, especially for beginners. And that's what I do tell people, is just buy something, just get something and
Yes.
start. If you're looking for the best or the perfect sort of set or something like that, you're not beginning anything. And so, so Michael's, Hobby Lobby too. There used to be an art materials downtown Fargo.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Or
place
just
like
take
that.
one of your classes. Describe where you have held your classes and where you also have availability.
Yeah, so I teach for Moorhead Community Education and Moorhead Area Public Schools. So the Vista Center for Education is Moorhead Community Education. And for Moorhead Public Schools, that's Horizon Middle School and the elementary schools here in town.
Yeah, you definitely have an impact on the youth here.
Oh,
so
yes.
describe the classes that you do offer for the youngins.
Sure, yeah, so we're working on a comic book class, which technically is just like an all arts class. So we sculpt, we paint, we draw, and then we turn it into a comic book.
Cool.
Later. Yes, that is very cool. And there's so many just excited students, and I guess, gosh, they're so enthused by it. It's like, what are we going to work on today? This is the best art class I've ever taken, and that's great. That's just so great that they can have that sort of experience where you're just welcome and you can just make.
Beautiful.
It's nice when you can kind of meet them where they're at. Like that's their interest level, whereas they may not be as much into like expressionist paintings.
Oh, sure. Like our movements, is that what you're talking
Right.
about? Well, yeah, you start talking about some of the history and they're kind of like, well, when do I get to play with the clay?
Right.
Okay, same.
Sure, and that's how it is too, and they ought to be that way. And I'll tell some students, totally ignore me. I'll say that, totally ignore what I'm saying. And you know what they do? They ignore me.
Great listeners.
Yep, and I'll say like, was anyone paying attention to that? And they're like, no. And I'm like, good job.
That's funny.
Yes, it is funny, and it's great too, because they can do that. They can totally zone out or think about what they're supposed to think about. I do believe that's the beginning of, I guess, being creative, that confidence. It's like, you know what, I'm allowed to do this. I'm allowed to make this. I'm allowed to say something's missing, and then add it.
Yes.
What's missing.
I would
that
love
perspective.
if you could just go through really quick. Obviously, we're using acrylics for this, and I prefer to use acrylics on canvas, but there are a lot of other different kinds of paint. There's oil paint and things like
Yes.
that. So
Gesso.
what would you recommend,
Or
or like how would you
gouache.
describe the difference?
Oh, sure. Yes, I suppose it's, very simply or very quickly, it's kind of the amount of time that you're going to be putting in. Oil, you get such vibrancy with some of the colors, and it stays open or it stays wet for quite a long time. And you have to be careful with that one. You have to clean the brushes a certain way, you have to clean surfaces a certain way. And that's often why I work with acrylic. And I just mentioned, I said gesso, and that's, I suppose, kind of a medium, but, it's a gouache. There's gouache that's in between acrylic paint and watercolor,
Okay.
so it behaves sort of like both.
Wow.
And that one's pretty neat.
This is the first time I've heard of that.
Oh,
one.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, that's something to work with. Hopefully that answers that question. a little
Well, I
bit.
have found that I got an art kit once and I tried oil, but I don't have the patience for it. You have to like put it down, let it dry, do another layer, and I was like, nope.
Yeah,
Who
you
has
do.
the time? Not me.
See, and that's what I do mean. So it kind of depends on how much time you've got, how many, I guess, details are in it, how big you're working too. How big is the canvas or how big is the surface?
Right.
So, yeah, but those are types.
So how can one follow up with you and get in touch with you for a personal art class?
Sure, I'm on Facebook. Am I supposed to just say the phone number I've got, like
sure.
right on
Yeah,
television?
go ahead,
Okay. So the phone number I've got is 701-353-9721, and you can talk to me that way. hopefully soon. And also I'm on Facebook. I've got an email address too, so that's johndavidberdahl@gmail.com. If you see me on the street, go ahead and stop me and say hello, and I'll probably talk to you for, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know he could go this long.
And he'll probably give you a motivational bracelet as well.
Oh, definitely, definitely, to prove I was listening.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, up next on today's show, we're going to be winning at a fundraiser. Up next.